and so you might notice it looks dramatically different to how I normally film things, because we're at MotoGB and I'm reviewing the Voge 900 DSX. I've actually got someone who knows what they're doing, so shout out to the cameraman. He's waving at me. So we're looking at this bike today, and really I love the brand Voge. I'm kind of a Voge fanboy. I also owned the 500 DSX, did 10,000 miles on that bike. I've tried the 350 AC, tried the 500 or the 525, both on the scrambler format and the adventure bike. I just think they offer great value for money, and it's a trend now that these bikes from China, from Voge but also from CF, they're kind of coming to the fore, and they're making people think twice about whether you need to invest so much money in a full-sized or even a mid-sized adventure bike from one of the legacy manufacturers. Now, it's going to be interesting to compare this bike to a base level bike from one of the established brands, because you're going to see a £3,000 reduction in cost for this bike. However, if you were to spec this bike to the equivalent bike, say the BMW 900 GS, that bike is 18,000, whereas this bike's 9,000. So in the value proposition, it's off the charts, which is what excites me really, because I think it's going to bring motorcycling to the masses in a way that perhaps would be a lot more difficult. Motorcycling is becoming more and more out of reach, whereas with brands like this coming into the market, they're offering something that everybody can find within reach, and it's brilliant. So let me talk about the bike. It's developed by Lonsin, which is a huge motorcycle manufacturer over in China. They obviously make engines for BMW and whole bikes for BMW as well. They put that expertise into making their own bikes, and Voge came to market in 2021. And that bike that first launched was the 500 DS, and then the 500 DSX followed, and there was a naked version. And now they've brought really their flagship to the market, which is the bike we see in front of us. What you'll notice is you've got that 895cc parallel twin. It's about 95 horsepower, about 95 newton meters of torque. But you've also got fully adjustable suspension, adjustable levers, toolless adjustment on the windscreen, full set of panniers, and then down here it just gets better. You've got a quick shifter, you've got that center standard crash protection. You've even got a sump guard as standard. Here you've got hand guards, you've got TFT, you've actually got steering damper. So I could just keep on going with this list of stuff that this bike has. Some of the interesting features, you've got a little 1080p camera at the front there, which if you put a SIM card in, it's the wrong type of card. If you put an SD card in, it'll record in loop, and that way if anything happens untoward, someone pulls out on you, then you've got that backup, which happens unfortunately more often than we'd like as motorcyclists. So I've spotted, let me just ask, can I walk around the bike? Yeah, so I spotted a few cool things already, like we've got the protruding spokes on the rim, which allows us to run tubeless tyres, Brembo brakes, which is kind of nice, and then down here you've got the oil filter, which is an easily accessible position, and here you've got the sump guard, which doesn't cover the downpipes, which I was hoping it would, but I suppose they've done that to allow the downpipe to run and not lower the ground clearance of the bike too much. Another nice feature, the shock, you can actually adjust with the knob there, so you don't have to use a tool. And then at the back you've got 17-inch 21 at the front. Now I do have a couple of concerns. Will the 21-inch front wheel be more of a difficulty rather than an asset? Because I, like kind of most, I assume, riders won't use this bike for any serious off-roading, looking at it in the context of a touring machine. So perhaps the 21, I'd rather a 19, but I'll see what it's like when I actually get it out. And then on the front there, you've got Pirelli Scorpion Trail rubber, which is more of a road-focused tyre, which is why it's a little bit strange that it's matched with the 21-inch front wheel. Also got keyless ignition. Again, that's probably surplus to what I'd want. I don't mind a physical key. But then coming to the back here, you've got lovely aluminium panniers, which have actually been updated since I used them on my bike. So they've a little bit smarter. They've got seal, which runs around them. Again, they didn't have that feature before. And then you've got these lovely removable sort of velvety liners to keep your stuff from bashing around in the pannier. And then at the side here, I've discovered that a tripod fits perfectly probably not this camera guy's tripod because it's pretty substantial, but my little tripod actually fits in the pannier there, which would be cool if I was touring and wanted to do some pieces to camera. Seats heated, grips are heated, so you've really got a bike that you can just go to the dealer, purchase, and then you can go touring straight away without having to customize and add to it. So what Voge is bringing to the market is this kind of like, it comes with everything you need, even if you don't use it, like the quick shifter or whatnot. It's there if you need it, and you don't have to worry about the price or the increase in cost of the base bike compared to accessories. So yeah, I'm excited to take it out. It's going to be a good day. We're going to do some riding, hopefully get some nice footage, and yeah, as I said, the production value is going to be a little bit higher than normal videos, but thanks to MotoGB for sort of letting me come up, inviting me up here. As a Voge owner, I'm kind of excited to see the new flagship. There we go. Right, welcome back everyone. So I've just got out on the Voge 900 DSX and we're starting recording. I have to sync these cameras somehow. Oh. And I've elected to go right at the back because, to be honest, I'm not feeling that confident because there's all these like professional or kind of more professional than I am road testers on the bike, so I don't really want to get in anyone's way, so I just asked them if I could tuck in at the back just to plod along at my own pace. So really we're going to give you a view of what it's like to ride the Voge 900 DSX. It's a bike that has a particular interest to me, as I said in the intro. I just could see myself riding one of these. I love the fact that motorcycling is more accessible to the masses when bikes like Voge and CF Moto come into the European market. Oh look, you see that indicator flashing there? And that's because the Voge has got radar, so if you go too close to a rider in front of you, what will happen is you'll trip the radar on the first bike, and it will flash the indicators and the brake light to draw the attention of the person who's riding or driving the vehicle behind. So very, very cool. I mean, I do spend a lot of time bashing tech on bikes, but that is probably one of the things that, if it saves you a bit of hassle in terms of a bump or something like that, then it's definitely worth it. I mean, a lot of the stuff on this bike is so wasted on me. You know, like the quick shifter, I wouldn't even use that. I just bloody use the clutch. I think cruise is nice. I think cruise would be a cool thing to have, because if you're doing big miles, yeah, it is a bit bougie to use the term all the kids are using. It's a bit bougie to have cruise control, but I don't know, I could get used to it. Some other stuff that this bike has, and this is basically the review. You've got to be careful not to make the review all about the tech, but this is a lot of it on this bike. It is all about what the features you get for this bike compared to the competition, and it's all included. And that's the thing I love about the Voge. You don't have to spec this bike with factory parts that bump up the price, or indeed get all the aftermarket parts fitted before you can go anywhere. You just go into a dealership, buy the bike, which is quite inexpensive for what it is, and then off you go. You're literally set to go on an adventure, 5,000 mile adventure. It's pretty crazy. We do have a little bit of a problem as well, in that last time I went on a manufacturer's visit to Voge, I rode it the whole day. I was so impressed with what it was, and then about a month later I went to buy one myself. And let's do some basics. I know it's full of gear, but the riding position is supremely comfortable. Like, you're sat in the bike. I just think it's magical. The seat's comfortable. I was going to say really comfy, but at the moment I haven't ridden it enough to boast that, so I'll just say it's comfortable. and I can get both feet flat on the floor. I think it's 835mm seat height, but like my Voge, it's got a low or thin seat, so you can easily get your feet down because your legs aren't sort of pushed apart. That's a real decent thing it's got. Yeah, the reach to the bar is perfectly pleasant. Just indicate to set off. Oh, almost stalled. Wouldn't be a Sean video without it stalling somewhere along the line, would it? So yeah, you got a comfortable seat, nice bend in the knee, and a short reach to the bars. And one amazing thing that I kind of discovered, like I can't confirm it because we haven't done enough miles yet, but I'm getting an inkling that there's not much. Oh, look at this little thing. Wow, it's cool. I'm getting an inkling that there's not going to be much buffeting, and I've never had that on any adventure bike. I've always had horrific buffering. Buffering? That's what happens when your internet's slow. Buffeting. I've always had bad buffeting, and on this thing it seems alright. Oh, GoPro's dynamic range is going to be tested as we go in and out of the shadows. Now we've got rough roads here, so we can test the suspension. And you've got KYB adjustable at the front, and also KYB monoshock at the back with a hand adjuster. So not only is it adjustable, you can also just quickly go in there and turn a knob that goes from hard to soft. So that's a nice plus point. No one likes fiddling around with C-spanners and stuff. This is really nice along here. Yeah, this is what I was hoping the day would be. Just a ride in beautiful scenery. I didn't really want to do all the drive-by photos and all that, but that's part of it, so can't complain too much. I'm getting to ride a bike in amazing scenery. I mean, people always go to Spain and stuff for these launches, don't they? But look at this. See how it does in second. But I mean, I'm just so chuffed to be out here today. Look at this. I mean, I'm basically an amateur YouTuber, and I get to ride a brand new bike around this kind of countryside. How nice is this? I just want to take this opportunity as well to thank Rod, Phil and everybody from MotoGB, and Luke, who's the events coordinator. What a nice team of people. They're so, like, they can tell I'm a little bit, like, I'm not my most confident, and they're very, very reassuring. So I didn't, as I said at the start, I didn't really want to go right at the front because I know all these guys want to sort of like accelerate and slam the brakes on and push it through the bends. Oh, there you go. Push it through the bends, etc. I don't want to do all that, so I thought, right, just tuck in at the back. And they're so accommodating. So props to MotoGB, like, what a nice group. They're so, like, kind of friendly and chatty. Love that. What's this thing here? Oh, that's a 360 camera, some description. Round the bumps. See, for me, I know we got 95 horsepower, or 93.4, 93.8, almost 94 horsepower, and 95 newton meters of torque. But I won't really even get out of like 4,000 RPM or above that range. I am a plodder through and through. So I guess it's nice to have and not struggle the engine if you're doing motorway speeds. But is that power needed? For me, probably not all that much, but I guess you wouldn't complain about having too much or something. It'd be more of a complaint if you had too little. Man, this is so nice. Sun's behind us, over some bumps. Suspension's lovely. I don't know whether they got it on hard or soft. Sometimes for demo bikes they put it on hard so people can whiz around the corners and so on, but hopefully this is on soft. But it's so nice up here. One thing that is absolutely amazing, as I said before, is the lack of buffeting on this bike. That's a game changer. That actually made me buy this bike, standard windscreen. So all the established, or I'm going to call them legacy brands, kind of need to sort out what they're doing. I mean, they're going to get out competed, and this is the thing. The Chinese manufacturers are making a statement, and I kind of knew this already, but it was confirmed by MotoGB that they over-engineer all of their bikes. And you know why that is? It's because they know that people don't trust them, as sad as it is. China knows they basically got a gun to their head. They can't mess up a launch and make the bike come out with some kind of problem, like the KTM camshaft issue or whatever. So what they do is they over-engineer the bike, so they're basically faultless. And my own experience with my Voge was 10,000 miles, 15,000 kilometers with no fault. So basically they're making the bikes better than they need to be, just to double ensure that nothing goes wrong and they don't get bad press, which is showing people aren't that trusting of them, isn't it? But that's the situation. Everybody sort of knows it. And if you want an over-engineered bike, buy a Chinese bike. As crazy as that sounds, that's the truth of the matter in 2024. Now, something else I wanted to talk about is, let's just check we're still recorded. I think we are for now. These bikes aren't only squeezing the likes of the Tiger 900s and the GS 900. I suspect they're also going to squeeze the lower capacity bikes as well, because I watched a video from Stu, Uncle Stu, where he totted up everything that you need to spec up a Himalayan 452, and the bike cost, wait for it, £7,652 for a 450cc single, with no quick shifter, no cruise control, no heated seats, none of that like touring stuff that people want. And of course, obviously the engine was missing one cylinder and half the capacity. So think about it. There is something to be said in these kind of brands bringing everything you need in one motorcycle, in one package, that you just go into the dealer, buy it, and then off you go. It's set. You don't have to worry about wiring crap in. It's all like neatly organised, and all wired into the dash, and all the buttons are there's a place for all the buttons and all that stuff. Let's just go over this bump just on purpose. Yeah, it's really nice suspension. It's going to be a game changer, and I've noticed that the standard press and the kind of the old guard, and now they're reacting. They're not proactively supporting and entertaining and making content about Chinese brands, but they're reacting to the market, because people don't want to pay 15 grand for a middleweight adventure bike. It's just daft. You could pay 9 grand and have this thing, which is lovely. Now the quick shifter I wouldn't use, to be honest, because I like the pull of the clutch lever. But then one of the guys said that what you'll find a benefit is when you're riding with a pillion, you'll be able to go up through the gears without that leaning back and forward that like bangs helmets. And so I thought with Sue's on the back, we do sometimes, you know, clunk into each other. So that is something that I'd probably be interested in. If I had the quick shift, I'd probably use it for that. Again, the riding modes, I'm in sport, but I'm not using the full power of the engine, so I mean I might as well be in is it changing? Rain, road. I might as well leave it in road, to be honest, because for what I want to use. Now the TFT, to be honest, I'm not a mad fan of TFTs. I mean, this one is fine. You can see the speed, that's the main thing you need to see. Got a rev counter at the top, miles for the trip, and the odometer. I kind of prefer the colour LCD, which the lower tier Voges have. This is awkward, isn't it? Narrows here. Get round him quickly. Yeah, see, I needed to. Yeah, I mean, for me that's just a bit soulless really, but then I suppose it is a modern adventure bike. The same with the button there that starts the bike. Obviously it's keyless. To me, I don't mind using the key. You've got to use the key to lock the panniers anyway, so
kind of just a little bit of an add-on that I probably, maybe I'd feel the benefit of, I guess. If you just walk off the bike, you can leave the key in your pocket. It has the advantage of that, doesn't it? Look at this riding up here, amazing. We got nice smooth tarmac here. Ducati, oh, it was a Tenere. It was a Ducati by the colours. See, oh, look at that. Pirelli Scorpion Trail 2 tyres, really doing well. So, God, I'm getting left behind here. Everyone's flying along. End of the day, people are confident. Where was everybody? The vibrations, if you rev the engine past about 6,000, you'll get some vibes in the pegs and through the bars. That is worth mentioning. Oh, round the dead squirrel, poor little chap. But of course, with a torquey engine, the idea is it doesn't really need to be revved out. You can have the bike, you know, short shifting and just generally riding a wave of torque. It's brilliant for that. Mirrors, I've got a good view in the mirrors. That, again, Voge mirrors, CF mirrors are all a bit like that. So, would I buy the Voge 900 DSX? I think in certain instances, this bike absolutely kills it. I think it's absolutely brilliant. You get everything you need to go adventuring, and it doesn't break the bank. You don't need to pay high monthly repayments, and you wouldn't be afraid to use this bike. And keep that in mind, because you could commute on this, you could use it all weathers. It's just absolutely brilliant. You'd be more than happy to park this bike up, because you know that if you drop it or somebody steals it, well, the incentive for them to steal it is much lower, because the parts, for example a wing mirror or whatever, will be 30 quid, not 180 for a BMW part. And so you'll actually use the bike, which I think is brill. I would never put that like 20 grand amount of money into a bike, and with the Voge you don't need to. It's really going to reset the kind of balance for the market going forward. I think obviously premium will always be premium, but the middleweight kind of bikes from the main manufacturers, the legacy manufacturers, they're only going to be able to rely on, and I'll just pick on Honda, but it's true of everyone, they're only going to be able to rely on, oh, it's a Honda, for so long, aren't they? Until it becomes the case that just having a Honda badge isn't worth having none of the extras that you get on this. Is this a little bit overkill? I mean, maybe. You could argue, like, I haven't really used, even though people say it's great, I haven't really used that sort of side mirror thing. Someone's in your blind spot, it flashes. One thing that is good, I suppose, is the thing when you approach someone fast from behind. If you're coming up on them with a speed differential of 20 to 25 miles an hour, it actually detects you quite far out, and it'll start flashing the brake lights and the indicators and so on to alert you, to draw your eye to that vehicle that you're coming up on really fast. So that's a nice feature to have. I think I'd appreciate that. But the thing, there are things on here that I wouldn't go for, like I mentioned before. There's also some low-tech cool stuff on here, like the hand guards, and also the adjustable levers, the center stand, the toolless adjustment on the screen. So there's loads of sort of, if you know what I mean, low-tech stuff. You've got the panniers are nicely lined. All that gubbins that is extras on other bikes, you get thrown in. So really, I think that's all great. A few little things on the electronic side that perhaps I wouldn't go for. But with a Voge you get everything, and if you don't want to use it, you don't have to. I can also, talking of the tech, press a little button to take a photo, and again it's one of those things that you only have to use once. Oh, that's a nice Ford. It's like a Cortina. Somebody can tell me in the comments. It's one of these things that if someone pulls out on you, you've got the dash cam there, and it's, again, it's not like some horrible thing that's all wired in and it ruins the aesthetics. It's all thoughtful, it's all there. Ideally, Voge should make a little lightweight adventure bike with 40 horsepower and all of the goodies like centre stands and luggage and stuff. That would be the dream. But let's see what they come up with. A lot of manufacturers are holding off releasing new models until next year, in line with Euro 5.5. So yeah, I mean it's very close. It's very close. I think people are buying this bike. I mean, there's meant to be 200 bikes that have already been accounted for and they've sold out, a little bit like CS 450 MT, and I do draw comparisons between that bike and this. Now I know that the 450 MT has popped off for CF, and probably because it's 5,600 and it's got all the kit on. Now this one is a bit of a chunk of change more. Just go around the roundabout, hold on. Ah, that's better, I've got the sun in my face. It's a bit of a chunk of change more, but the difference is, I guess, that you've got a lot more power and some even more advanced features, and you've got the all-important cruise control. So yeah, I honestly don't know if I would buy it, just because it's a little bit too much power for me. But I probably would go, here we are back at MotoGB, but I would probably go for the 525 DSX, which I know is the boring answer for most people on watching this review, but that's the truth. I'd probably go for the smaller bike if it was me. Let's just park up. Oh, there you go guys, absolutely lovely ride though, super enjoyed it, and props to MotoGB, they couldn't have been nicer. Again, nice companies, that wins me over. Oh, love it. Right, how do you turn this thing off? Oh, there you go. And we'll stop this.
Right, so I've had a fantastic day on this bike today. I didn't realise how beautiful the countryside is around here. We've been looked after, we've had some nice food, everyone's been just lovely people. As I said before, I'm kind of a people person and everyone's been really helpful. I went at the back to let everyone else tear off. I'm more of a plodder, which is absolutely fine. You know, I just kind of use the bike in its touring capacity, short shifted. Some things I didn't use that much, like I didn't use the cruise, didn't use the quick shifter. What I did enjoy perhaps is the riding position. It's very, very comfortable. You sit in the bike, and for the seat height of 835mm, both my feet were flat on the floor, which I really, really appreciate because it gives you that feeling of security. The wind buffeting, which is an awful thing that affects me on all adventure bikes, is actually not that bad at all on this on this 900 DSX. So that'd be something that I would probably put it forward in the positive column. If you test this bike, have the windscreen. I mean, it slides up and down in a toolless operation, but it gave me no problems at all. Mirrors are really good. You can see loads out of them, and the vibrations don't really kick in until around 6,000. But then with the torque and the 6-speed, you can just sort of cruise on this bike and just enjoy the kind of effortless power, really. The panniers, as I talked about in the intro, really, really nice. They're kind of smart, lockable, very secure. The bike does come with these as standard, so there isn't at the moment an option to buy it without it. But I mean, these panniers are normally £1,200 for any of the other manufacturers, so it's a really nice windfall to have those included. What else do I think about it? Handling is pretty good. The brakes are Brembo, so I mean, good enough for me. Suspension, I don't know what adjustment it's set on, but it's soaked up all the bumps. The only things I'd pick out is probably the indicators. Now it clicks if you do it with your finger, but if you've got gloves on, you can't hear it. Don't know whether it's on or off. The other thing is, I guess, oh yeah, there is one little thing to pick at, is the on-off throttle. You need to use the clutch a little bit just to smoothen that out. So you've got a little bit of a, I wish they'd make that a little bit more tactile. And then the throttle operation, you just need to use the clutch in first and second just to smooth it out a bit. Not the worst I've encountered, but definitely something to check out on the test ride. The rest of it I didn't really use. The heated grips, I could say, were really, really hot. So if you're concerned about that, the seat and the grips are really nice and toasty. But other than that, it's just a very good value adventure bike. I think Voge are doing great things. They're going to shake up the market, and I probably wouldn't buy it myself because I'd go for a more lightweight bike. Probably go for the 525 DSX. I kind of prefer that kind of size. But if you're in the market and you want a fully optioned up bike, then I mean, this bike should definitely be on the shortlist. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap up there. If you've got any questions, drop them down in the comments. That'd be really cool. And yeah, let me know what you think about the video. And I just want to say thanks again to everyone at MotoGB. Thanks again to the camera guy. And I'll catch you in the next one.